What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope you all had a great weekend and a great Mother's Day. Okay, let me get into this. Today's episode of One Life to Live was crazy. First of all, Blair, she walks down the stairs. She overhears a conversation between Sam, David, and Jack, where she think they probably had a woman, or they was probably looking at some porn or something in the living room. So she barges in there and finds that they're looking at some new computer game or something. That video game that Jack wanted, the expensive one. And David was sitting there trying to be all hip and trying to talk some slang. And Sam said that he wanted to play the game, but Jack told him no. And Sam said he could whoop Jack ass. I was like, oh wow. So Blair got upset when she found out the game was from Todd. And she wanted Jack to put it back in the box and take it back. But of course Jack didn't want to take it back. That's a very expensive game. So they talked about it and stuff like that, and she felt like Todd was just trying to buy Jack's affection, just trying to buy him, buy his love pretty much. And she didn't like it because she wanted Jack to know that money can't solve every problem. So anyway, David left, and back at Taya's house, Taya and Victor were talking, and Victor was telling Taya that he had to leave town. And she got upset because he just came back to Landview. And she was upset that he's leaving already. But he had to leave for her protection and for the protection of the kids. Because apparently the people that he escaped from may be in Landview. So he has to leave for their own well-being. And he said that once he takes care of what he got to take care of, he'll hopefully be back. So Taya got upset because, she thought that he was dead, and then she lost their baby, and now she feels like she's losing him all over again. And Dani just moved out, so, she feels alone. And I feel bad for Taya because it do feel like Taya's losing everybody. And that's fucked up. So anyway, Victor tries to reassure her, he will come back to her and stuff like that, but he has to leave immediately. So she told him to call the kids and stuff like that and explain this to him. Don't just leave without saying goodbye to them like he did the last time. So anyway, back at the apartment, Matthew, Jeffrey, and Dani were at the apartment, and Destiny came over with the baby and stuff like that because Dani said that she would babysit Drew. So Matthew, of course, had a problem with it. Then Jeffrey came out smiling at Destiny and stuff, and they was pretty much flirting with each other. And Matthew looked a little annoyed by it. I could definitely see Jeffrey and Destiny hooking up. I could definitely see them becoming a couple. And I think they would be a good couple, because he seemed like a good dude for her. So anyway, Destiny said she had to work and stuff like that. That's why she needed a babysitter, because her babysitter called out, got sick. So Dani elected to babysit, and Dani got a phone call from Taya. So she had to run out to Taya's house real quick. And Destiny and Matthew were talking, and Jeffrey brought the baby into the bedroom and stuff to, put him to sleep. And Destiny was telling Matthew, how hard it is to raise him by herself and stuff like that. And Matthew talking about that's why he didn't want kids. And he told her she should have had, she should have went ahead and had the abortion. So Destiny got mad and smacked the shit out of Matthew, and I don't blame her. Why would you say some stupid shit like that to her about an abortion? Like, Matthew is such a little pisshead. Seriously, he needs, it's like everything Clint said to him, he didn't hear a word that Clint said. Like, Clint told him to be a Buchanan and man up and take care of his child, and he's still acting like a little bastard. So Jeffrey was trying to intervene, and Matthew yelled at Jeffrey and told him to mind his business pretty much and stay out of it. And then after Destiny left, him and Jeffrey got into it because, you know, Jeffrey came from a single parent household where his mom took care of him by herself, and he understands what Destiny's going through, and he's just trying to get Matthew to sympathize with her and understand it too. But Matthew wants to act like a spoiled little rich bastard because everybody know Matthew grew up a Buchanan. You know, he grew up in a rich lifestyle. I mean, look how many years he lived at the mansion, Asa's mansion. So he wants to act like a little rich bastard. So he stormed. So Jeffrey left. You know, he was angry and left. So Matthew had to stay behind and babysit Drew by himself. Anyway, Vicky and Todd were talking, and Todd tried to prove to Vicky that he changed and stuff like that by telling her that he made a peace with Victor, but Vicky wasn't kind of buying it. She wanted to know if Todd was just doing this to really be doing this, or what did he have an agenda behind it. But Todd made it clear he can't stand Victor, but he's willing to make peace with the guy, you know, just to get his kids back, you know, get back in their good graces, which I don't blame Todd. You know, he has to find a way to be a part of his kid's life. So Vicky leaves and David comes out telling Todd about the video game that Jack got. So Todd was wondering, did Jack like the game or whatever? And, you know, David said Jack seemed like he was impressed and happy. So David went over to La Boule, and Blair called him Santa Claus and stuff like that, trying to tell Todd not to try to buy his way into the kid's life and, you know, teach their kids that money doesn't solve every problem. Which I can understand where Blair coming from, but at the same time, Blair got to understand Todd has tried everything to be a part of Jack's life, and Jack is still acting like a jackass. So what more can he do? That's what Blair need to understand. Anyway, Jack, Danny, and Sam went over to Taya's house so Victor could tell them that he was leaving town. They were upset, of course, but he wanted to make them understand why he had to leave and stuff like that. You know, he had some business he said he had to tend to out of town. So Jack was pretty upset, and Victor told Jack to give Todd a chance, but of course Jack won't do it. So, you know, they left, and Victor walked out the door. Taya, you know, he kissed her goodbye one last time. Taya was upset. She threw everything on the floor, which I don't blame her. Danny went home. She was upset. Her and Matthew hugged, and, you know, I could definitely tell something was going to happen between her and Matthew. So Jack threw the expensive game that Todd bought him. He threw it on the floor and smashed it. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this kid? That's a $3,000 game, and he threw it on the floor. I'm like, this kid is crazy. So Todd went back to his hotel room, grabbed a drink, and Victor came and knocked on the door, wondering what that conversation gonna be like. So anyway, I'll see all of you later for another review. See you later. I'm out.